Hey you guys, welcome to another video where we talk about watercolor techniques. Hi, I'm Shravanti and welcome to my channel Aquarian Diaries, and today we're going to talk about negative paintings. What is negative painting, I hear you ask? It's a passive approach towards painting the main subject of an art piece. Sounds confusing? Let me explain. So in this example, I'm taking a rather traditional approach towards painting a subject. I've painted the background, I've left it to dry, and then I take a more saturated value to paint the main subject of the painting. But what if there's another way to paint the same subject? In the second example, I'm taking a rather saturated mix of the color, and I'm carefully avoiding white spaces and painting the background. This way of painting around the main subject of the painting is called negative painting. Negative painting is very widely used by watercolor artists, not so much as oils and acrylics because as you know they are opaque mediums and you can always paint light over dark. Watercolors on the other hand are not so forgiving, but with a little bit of practice you can also ace negative painting. Here I am showing you two watercolor studies that I had done before, which makes extensive use of negative painting. The one on the left gives an impression of depth while the one on the right is a pattern. In both the studies here, you will see that I have kept the colors contained in the same color family. The one on the left uses blues and purples while the one on the right uses yellows and greens. The way to approach negative painting is to first paint the foreground in the most lightest value and then paint around the edges with darker values. Though in my studies here I have used colors in the same family, you do not have to restrict yourself in that manner. In today's video, I am also going to show you how you can use negative painting when the colors are not in the same color family. All the art materials will be on the screen as well as in the description box, so feel free to check that out. I start off with painting the skies, throwing in some watery blues. And to denote the gradation, I paint the most saturated blue at the very top and watering that down as it meets the horizon. The main focus of today's painting would be the crashing waves on the rocks. To emphasize the whites of the sea foam and the fluffiness of the clouds in the sky, I take a dry tissue and take out some colors from the sky. I'm now taking some muddy purple mix and painting the shadows of the clouds. I keep the sky very loose and very light because I do not want the sky to take away any focus from the crashing waves. Once I'm done with the sky, I leave it to dry and move on to the next element of the painting. So now I'm going to start painting the rocks on the left side. I use the same technique as I had explained before, basically putting in a very watery wash for the first layer of the rocks. I paint the first layer pretty much wet on wet, letting the colors disperse into each other. Once I let that dry, I paint the second rock on the left side. As you would have noticed, I keep a very uneven edge to the rocks because I want to give the impression of the water splashing against the rock. And now on to painting the most fun part of this painting, the water. I take some bright turquoise and start painting the ocean. I leave some white spaces here and there to indicate the waves, but I also keep in mind that I need to paint around the crashing sea wave. To show the depth in the ocean, I am taking a mix of green and letting that mix with the turquoise. Painting a flat wash would give a rather two-dimensional look to the ocean. In negative painting, it's very important to study the reference picture to understand where the brightest brights and the darkest darks are. Now I've taken the watery mix of blue and I'm painting the shadows on the waves. Now as the paint is still wet, I put in some more blue here and there to create an illusion of depth in the sea wave. It's also important to understand that you do not want to create sharp edges, so you can take some clean water and soften the edges of the shadows. Now I'm taking some mix of Carmine and Ultramarine to paint the foreground seafoam. As always, I'm still keeping some whites of the paper reserved. The combination of the watery blue and the white of the paper helps to create an illusion of movement in the foreground of the painting. Now, as the first layer of the rocks have dried up, I start painting or giving more definition to the rocks. I do this by adding deeper colors to the crevices and the shadows of the rocks. Here I've used the Quill Brush, which gives me the added benefit of its tapered tip. But if you don't have one, you can use a smaller round brush to paint the finer details of the rocks. I'm using various hues and tints of dark brown, sepia, and neutral tint to give definition to the rocks. I am extra careful near the edges of the rock where I want to show the spray of the water hitting the rocks. So again, leaving the white spaces of the paper. Now it's also important to understand that the previous layers have to dry down before you can start painting the shadows of the rock, else it would turn into a very muddy mush. Take your time, study the reference. This gives you a better understanding on how to layer the colors. It definitely helps working in layers to create the different textures of the rock surface. Usually I wait for the previous layers to dry down for me to understand the final outcome of the painting. If I have to go ahead and darken any more shadows, I do that once the previous layers have dried down. As you see in the video, it's pretty much a repetitive process of identifying where the lights and the shadows are, going in layer by layer and darkening as I go. Because in watercolors, you cannot lighten once you've added in the most darkest of the shades. I hope you're still here with me on this painting. Let me know if you did give negative painting a try. What was your experience like? And if you did enjoy the tips and tricks I've shared in this video, do let me know in the comments which tip was it that actually benefited you the most. And if there are any more suggestions on what kind of videos you would like me to make, please let me know in the comments below. Now that we're close to finishing the rocks, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who's joined me here new on my channel. Welcome to my channel. I hope you like the content that I share here, and I'm always open for feedbacks and suggestions. I love to hear from you in the comments. And now you can sit back and relax for the next couple of minutes as I finish the foreground, the actual subject of the painting, and I'll catch you right back at the end.
I get a little bit breathless, my thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. breaks in my heart. It's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't wanna face it. You think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time.
Now, as I put in the last few finishing details of this piece, I would like to thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you had a blast. I hope you liked few of the tips and tricks that I've shared in this video. If you did, please feel free to like and comment and also subscribe if you like the content that I share here on YouTube. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.